such vicious surroundment, such tons of mimicries, such hesitation, also such sort of analysis of or such precious or these as a major precious or proper as original for perhaps of original proper as original proper as if original for proper for original or proper origin there for proper or original for proper also for original proper as if precious perhaps of economic locust amass. These are rippers, thrashers, ravagers. Worse than hijack corpses. What the heck are they? How did they even form? Why continue to breed to this number? Almost suppose to look at me. We will notice it'll probably be a degenda mother. Physicalness could have been better, so me will be probably comparative. A bit more buff. Just a bit more, perhaps. Also, it's got to do a culture level contamination where there just be so much question when our guest does something. What are there to question? It's already rather known. Or probably also we are moral or reasonable proper considerable generalization. A while, the Nazis get no hesitation. If we raise a question about Nazis, how bad they are, they question us or doesn't question us instead of questioning towards or probably sort of opposite of question towards us. Then question towards the opposites. How hideous our stuff are. Lots of arbitrary. This overpopulation aren't overpopulated. This planet more of a Nazi planet. Count our guys. Bill Gates, Joe Biden. It's literally less than 350. 0.01% of 1% of the overpopulation in North America are far more than 320, or a lot more than 325. Consider 2 times. So consider there are supposedly 2 John F. Kennedys. Times that by 2, 4. Times that by 2, 8. Times by 2, 60. Multiply that, then again. Then multiply that again. Then multiply that. And then multiply that. Then multiply that. Then multiply that. Then multiply. Someone that's remotely evil would start to baffle. Like, wait a second. What am I doing? If I have to counter somebody, perhaps they're more evil than me. It's simply illogical, not even sort of irrational. It's pure insanity. These are. Well, we have to come up with all these stories to adapt towards them. These has this control up or sort of their opposition, holding flags described towards Hitler, while purposely sort of spreading this default setting that's already contaminated. They keep factor churn. Left to interpret, allow some sort of group mistakes to occur. Sounds won't even counter Nazis. Sounds won't counter Nazis. It's not sort of smart enough to counter Nazis. We need to depopulate this place ASAP. ASAP, right? How come there's still question like how come he's saying ASAP twice? Like where does that come from? Come from the Nazis. We need to take a stroll, sort of do a marathon and think about Hitler or anti-Hitlerists. Hitler, or probably also both, because it's a good moment. One of them or both at a document. It's nearly impossible to answer to a lot of their questions. Too many infiltrators to Christianity. These doesn't speak beasts mark. It's simply repeat mark of the beast, mark of the beast, mark of the beast. So when it's original for pable or also original pable is slow enough, so once when it's to combat, a person still has to think this way. But this way of speech, not reserved for sort of combat moments. One has to take effort more skillful to manage a rat around, while the culture setting usually tends to one attain to. Then it goes, you could have done it. It's from Nazis. Or probably indirective. Liberalism may not be able to sort of control, but if it were sort of direct or directly contaminated towards state government, but if the person they spent time with, or also the person next to them, were sort of with, as long as they are Nazi somewhere, it's going to contaminate to state government. Aren't it? Just various different magnitudes. All these YouTube comments are factor churn machines. They don't like you. They don't care about you. It sounds like, oh, they're discussing something, or they're talking with strangers. No, they're factory churn machines. Evidence suggests they're factory churn machines. Sort of mimic as humans or as citizens to obtain the current prices that are treated better than anyone else. Treated better than even Bill Gates' own children. Notice that these receive tremendous amount of English lessons at these education centers. Doesn't declare this to us? Already marked to Donald Trump. They don't have to speak to certain ways of directly. Notice they even pick his words or start commenting on these words. Their desk mark could be any gesture, or it could be a lot of this simple remark, casual remark. But it's going to result to that. Because it's either through direct negligence or another division start doing this. Or also threat towards Donald Trump. And if Donald Trump attacks back, he either going to probably land to some labels. If he sort of strikes more, that's already conventional, standard, abnormal, or abnormal, then it becomes, therefore he probably majorly inappropriate. That inappropriateness from Nazis would result towards probably a murder. But while Donald Trump, as if he has been so dangerous, or potentially dangerous, the Nazis doesn't even discuss about lack of nobleness of them, or pable or noble, or also similar topics, original pable, or so the opposite of nobleness, or original pable, or unnobleness of. But these directly cover up the historical context, or probably spreading so much of these gossips. How did these ones get to the MSN position? Notice the ugly person that this American region completely just pulled out, rabbis hijack corpse and tear. Noticing what just remain as a factual churn machine, as the investigation can be verified. If they are somehow sort of this rejectors, and that's probably due to Nazi spells, 6 of our guys can override that to a major amount. Decent people are getting stabbed around, the government's being hijacked. I suppose that does occur, or even more of hijack. Then it becomes double hijack, triple hijack. So sort of once or more than sort of twice hijack, or 3 times hijacked by the Nazis. It will still become this current casualness because this is the current situation. The government's being hijacked to a major extent. Whether it's not hijacked, that could be designated towards if there are still common persons there, because they were working towards opposite. Notice that the Nazis, there is some kind of factory churn machine that are on some existential hover. They would like to invite a lot of person towards that existential hover. Not even living. Not even sort of defective, right? They're major malfunctional. But usually described towards them tends to be providence of that. It's not supposed to be described towards them. That's why there can be a little bit, how come recently there was description of, or perhaps they're sort of a form of realism. They're too real. Perhaps we're sort of person that like to party, takes life too seriously, but that may be also a bit of true, but that's more so worthy of a consideration of. But are there any evidences of common person behave this way, where they later become this way? Nope. Yeah, there's too much gossips. Also, this usually when we mention something very right on, the interpretation is different. They take at Bromir differently. So Bromir says something right, it's wrong, and it's proven as if because it spoke something wrong, or it's because it wasn't right enough, but it was right. Then what else is it asking for? Why is it still asking more questions from Bromir? The liars are fairly potent. After all, these are larger. We're sort of rebel against them, right? By the functionality level, it could be different because they enforce this different level. Also, they sort of cover that topic. Probably also considerable because of original buffer, because we are eventually going to overcome, and therefore sort of be a larger, or original for bubble, or probably also at the functionality level, examine our guys' economic presence, or probably also for instance, view. Check out this X mark, this fucking generic is going to be tackling towards romance. All of a sudden, he speaks the F word as if it's danger. F word didn't harm anyone. That's a case of, it's still generic language. They butchered this whole fucking language to the word lots of words can't even be used, or proper major much more lesser preferable of, including Russian. Proper also be that place also be infested with Basmana's scourge. Yeah, to this age or to this year, also this month of this year, still gotta repeat a lot of the stuff that are obviously there, as if the person just somehow missed this. Meanwhile, they don't miss targets for the nationalists. Lots of the person already been murdered by the ADHD program from the Nazis. Nazis aren't solved by calculating 666 number combinations. Unsolved by that. It's not therefore, it's not great. Notice that when it's forget it. Sort of forget it. We should just be bark until they get it. Because Commonwealth's essay is almost the same stuff. Why is it sort of spell of exhaust? Does it not sort of bother us by producing these heavy, or Papa has to gather these data, come up with essays along the way? Wouldn't it pick up some additional zombifications? It would, but if it's Nazis next to someone, as usually, or Papa at this corporate setting, they already order compliance. To obey them, they insist I'm a teacher. It's because of the federal government. They ain't even know federal government at current. It's just me telling a lot of Joe Biden, lots of others what to do next time. Or the next set of strategies towards counter Nazis. Original Papa also lots of other brilliant persons of. What the fuck, man. Sort of a case of betrayal. All those ones taught us this much of English lesson. That's all they does. Noticing the spasm, bunch of freaks insists talking. Noticing the persons without something that, or someone without elegance. Suspicious. This language has been completely arbitrary. For instance, after pronouncing the noun and the verb, the in-between words, sort of the lots of the sort of connection words, or lots of those words, could be very much different pronunciation, wouldn't affect much. It's sort of arbitrary, also this generic coverage. Whoever was setting this stuff, certainly they were completely conditioned. They weren't placing wrong bets, they were placing right moves. Or perhaps a bit of it was a bit malfunctional of. Or Papa also, from reason Papa also comes from this anime, it also come from the Nazis. Mainly because of the Nazis' manipulations. There are lots of terrorists there. The whites with Roma people, they're not human. They've been even to the Nazi level of as if their females are sort of suitable females where can't integrate. When it's mentioned female, usually, or it does, or Papa also with, or reason Papa, or sort of not female, original Papa, or there enough, original for Papa, or just for original Papa, also original for Papa. Lots of the decent person needs to hide, while it's all some sort of fiends, real bubble call back fiends, real bubble, also generalization of real bubble after constable generalization for real bubbles, original for bubble, at those television studios, only some radical will bother to come up with such stuff. Stay with your college, stay with your province. Why were you trying to complete the stuff? Didn't it seem a bit eerie? Didn't question, or the ones that still resulted mostly didn't question. They obtain this huge amount of. They keep presenting this radicalness. Not humble. Someone who is already a humble person, they wouldn't be sort of that. But then also, the purpose of a lot of the mentions are to support towards Hitler. Let's do that first. A lot of stuff already is sort of being stated by other persons. It's almost always this. We need to state to a book volume level per almost each or per. About a couple instances of where does that come from? At least instigated by Nazis, or at least also Nazi wished by Nazis. When Nazis rule the planet, it sort of doesn't rule. Some erratic spasm Nazi notions. next, sort of not even next hobby or sort of next busyness. This economic, this business stuff, this also probably financial sector needs to be get rid of. Not therefore we are sort of getting rid of also the word finance. Where does that come from? Notice too much assumptions, too much prejudice. Even the word prejudice. So Richard Pabl also of the case scenario of this denounced towards proper prejudice towards the American pop or towards the population in America region of those vicious sort of underling boss or probably also more of or also result of those Kansases, result of those Nazis began, or result of those domestic terror, or result of those. Here comes the feminazis to give inspection of found word of conventional word of take a rest every single day. Yeah, starting with the topic from the opposite. At least a sort of a different starting of with probably also similar talking music. Yeah, sent to desk camp, nameless college. Noticing with its presence already comes more degenda. Notice that's a change? Or sort of that unchanged? And then somehow those Nazis turn it, or then it becomes it's towards that group. Notice negativity or terrorism. If someone didn't do moral wrong, why should he do to this excessive worry about this that has to into this to grief mode? Are they abiding towards someone? Or usually people sort of comply to someone to do that. Or towards someone, or towards strangers, or people also, or people towards strangers, or people also people towards strangers, or people also people also towards strangers, or people negativity, terrorism. The Nazis are at the level of invite someone to be a psychopath, to spread prosthetics. So you don't have to kill a person. Like who cares about some person? What the fuck does that come from? Person supposed was healthy or non-affected by Nazis, they would default not bother even thinking that way. Come with assault, or probably with some invite, probably a lot of reject words. So they sort of first pacified. But after they're sort of then also combined with incapacitation, or probably reduced, then there comes more pacified, then more pacified, then eventually they sort of converted to their side. Or sort of also become sort of inert. Or if we're not going to combat towards Nazis. This whole language needs to fucking change, man. Because it's a generic language now. More Nazis speak this language. They also rely on this language. They go into this atrocious frenzy. A race war wouldn't even begin. They're in it together. The persons I recommended, some persons are common person caught along with, or some are from common persons. Already, always sugarcoat, but they will knives. What else are there to cover? Even president has too many bodyguards that running some degenda. checking how he's doing. Like, what the fuck is wrong with these fucking Wehrmacht humans? They already murdered Hitler. They murdered Hitler. They caused the French Revolution. They bit people towards Nazis. They are utterly Nazi, unsensible. Right? The word Nazis, original Bible also, the word Nazis explains much of. Original Bible explains much of it. Yeah, these are all fucking wines to condition someone. But then these feminazi read these comments. It's equivalent to what we had to explain. This statement doesn't even solve the problem. If our persons are poor, they don't care. How many of the strangers out there are gonna care? Suppose Shimon Peres, or Regional Papa, the former president Shimon Peres, Regional Papa former Israeli president Shimon Peres, was laying on the floor. Regional Papa, or the former president, Original Papa, or the lady, Original Papa, or the former Israeli president Shimon Peres was laying on the floor due to a car accident. They would take out its iPhone to start filming, taking pictures. After this factor churn, just doing moves. Don't like nobody. Or probably doesn't like watching others. There are billions of those. Real probably also there are billions of those. There's been more discussions on various topics, more stuff offered. Because now guests can't even speak effort. What else can they do? Cannot wait to count it towards us. What reason for pable? Also, some other mentions. What reason for pable? Or so much of demanded from us. We don't do much of moral wrong. Lots of persons can't even reach to a keyboard at current because they're busy working, or in front of a keyboard, or has a keyboard, but busy doing other stuff. Lots of busy work. A couple divisions zerg, trade off with some with busy work. Then what's going to be left? A giant, huge chunk of zergs who start. Even simply just flood some forum, the forum will be there. A while there will be divisions going, oh, this person complains too much. If he's mentioning some criminals out there, or are you too busy? Notice that the language itself at this sector, what has it gotten to do? Right? We can immediately notice or pable a fair amount of or pable also. Original pable also noted from the much of the gossip, also the radio shows, or probably some radio programs of, or probably some radio broadcasts of. What were those? Were they even human? Or probably also living, or probably also that's original probably, also original probably also that's here of original probably. Those humans, or original probably were they living? Original probably also were they original probably were they living? Original probably. Are they here of original pable, or were they human? Original for pable retrieval of, were they living of original or pable, or were they original pable of original pable, or were they living of original pable, also original pable? Are they here of, or reason for pable, were they here of? Or reason for pable also, original for pable also not original pable for original pable, or pable also not original for pable after original pable. Original or pable, or after original pable, original pable, original pable also, original pable also, another original pable, original for pable. That's it of this video. Also video is for original pable. That's it of this video. Or pable also video is original for pable also not or recent or pable recent there for pable. That's it of this video. Or pable also video is original for pable retrieval. Or original for pable also of original pable also. Or pable of original pable of original pable also of origin there for pable also of original for pable of original for pable after original pable also original for pable of original pable also or pable of original pable of original pable also original pable of pable recent actions of pable also original for pable of original pable also of original pable also not of original for pable.